into the end zone. More gymnastics. He did another flip, and there you go. Well, there's just a little chest bump with the fellow rookie, and what a start for those two. Since Dart made his first start, that was week 4 at home against the Chargers. He and Skattebo have rushed for 50 each in the last 3 games. Second rookie duo to do that in the history of the NFL, joining Lamar Jackson and Gus Edwards. We always enjoy our time with Damien Woody on a Thursday night. This time he's in his place, and we're happy to visit with him. And Damien, man, there's an energy with these two rookies, Dart and Skattebo, that if any franchise, really if any football city needed an injection of adrenaline, it was New York City, and they have gotten it in these two. I'll give you the floor. Where do you want to start between those two of who most impresses you tonight against the reigning champs?
Scotty, it's hard for me to pick which one. I mean, listen, you talk about both of these guys. I said a couple weeks ago against the Chargers, they brought so much juice. It was literally jumping out of the screen. It was the same way tonight between Jaxson Dart and utilizing his legs to get out of all sorts of trouble and making plays down the field, and Cam Skattebo with his physicality in the run game. That combination has really energized this Giants team on both sides of the ball. Imagine, Scotty, you're a defensive guy, and you're watching these young fellas out there, bringing that physicality, extending plays, scoring touchdowns. Man, that provides so much juice across the board. The Giants got something here with these two young guys.
You're talking about a defense that gets to, take a rest. You could put your feet up, put your house shoes on, though. They went 11 for 16 on third down. Like, that's such a critical stat in this league. And they managed to possess the ball, stay on the field, and there's the juice. But I want to go back to last week, because after they beat the unbeaten Chargers, they go on the road, turn it over the last 5 times they have it to lose to a winless team in New Orleans. And I guess what I'm saying is, looking at the sandwich of the wins against the teams they beat with the loss in the middle, I presume that's just the cost of doing business with a young team, or I should say a couple of young players, but it's got to be worth it in the long run for New York, right?
Absolutely. This is the cost of doing business when you're playing a couple young guys at critical positions. You're going to have games like tonight. You're going to have games like last week on the road down in the Superdome, and they committed 5 turnovers. So that comes with it, but that trajectory, all you want is that trajectory going upward, and that's where this Giant team seems like they're headed right now.
The next 2 are pretty rugged, at Denver, at Philadelphia, and then San Francisco comes in. So, I mean, listen, they're going to keep getting a chance to prove it week to week. But this night against this team, who they had gotten worked by in prime time 10 straight times, got to be satisfying. Now, in the highlight, Damien, I showed the 4 in a row, the tush push. And, I mean, just your reaction to just watching it 4 straight times? You're shaking your head. What are you saying? What words do you put with that head shake?
I'm literally watching the game. I'm like, this is hideous. This is not football. I understand, I've been a guy that said, you got to go out there and stop it. But I also understand football is entertainment. Tell me what entertainment aspect of this that is pleasurable to the public out here. It's just a hideous play to watch it 4 times in a row. I think the NFL is going to do something about it this offseason, as they should.
All right. I'll put myself in the shoes of an Eagle fan who would say, stop it, right? Just stop the play. And they coach it well. I'd say they execute it well. I think it drives people nuts that in slow motion we can see false starts on quite a few of these snaps. But where I land with this, not as an Eagle fan, but just as a football fan, is there has to be a better reason than just we don't like it. And that's really all anyone says, Damien. We don't like it. I don't like watching it. I don't like when there's a given in sports. And that's really all anyone says is we don't like it. It's not a player safety thing. Guys don't get hurt a ton. Although there was a Giant that got hurt on one of those plays. I just think mostly what I hear is we don't like it. Isn't that what this is?
I mean, listen, that's basically what it is. But again, I'm going to say the NFL is about entertainment.
I agree.
And again, what is entertainment about watching 4 straight tush pushes in a row by the Philadelphia Eagles? I just think the public is not into this, this play, being executed like this.
We agree, but I still think it's just mostly people saying we don't like it. That's not nearly as important as what you think about Philadelphia in total? Because I made the point last night, felt like we've done this the last 2 years. A lot of scrutiny about who they are, and they still win a ton of games. Well, now they've lost a couple in a row, and I'm interested in where you see this team 6 games in at 4-2, still for the moment leading the NFC East.
Scotty, they're very predictable on offense. I mean, you got your quarterback lining up in the shotgun about 80-90% of the time. It's hard to do. They can't run the football consistently. The play-action pass game is almost non-existent. There's a lot of tells that you can do just watching the Philadelphia Eagles on offense. So they got to mix things up. They got to get the quarterback under center more, just change things up offensively, because if I can see it, you better believe that the opposition, the coaches who are scouting these things much more than I am, they can see it as well.
Yeah, a lot of introspection among the group this week, and then they go out and get doubled up by the Giants in a standalone spot. So they got a couple of games before their bye. I'm sure they'll be working on it in Philadelphia. Damien, my love to your family as always, and look forward to seeing you here in person or next week or whenever it is. All right?
Absolutely.
What a night in New York for the rookie quarterback and the rookie running back. Cam Skattebo. Once, take that one with you. Twice. Bang, delivering a blow on the way in, reaches it across, and then do it a third time. He's got back flips and one-handed flips and all sorts of dismounts and things of that nature. And Cam Skattebo has thrown on the headset to join us now. Cam, hey, it's Scott Van Pelt here on SportsCenter. What a night for you and your guys. And, man, I know that you weren't alive for some of these losses for the Giants against Philly in primetime, but just how aware were you of how things had gone recently when you and Philadelphia have played?
I just know that I read something this morning that there was a 10-game or a 10-year streak of not winning on Thursday Night Football. And, I looked at Jaxson. I said, we're going to change that tonight. So that was kind of the one stat. I haven't really paid attention to New York and Philly, but the main one was, the 10 years on Thursday Night Football not winning. So, we had to switch that over.
Well, you all are now 1-0, and I'm going to get to your quarterback in a minute. But, I mean, the highlights that we showed, I think, look, you became something of a cult hero back in college down there for Arizona State. But then, you're plowing through guys, and then you're doing backflips. Your energy is so infectious. How aware are you of the way you're able to impact not just your offense, but your entire team, Cam?
Yeah, I mean, this Coach Dayball and Joe, they drafted me for a reason. They seen the energy I had. They seen the player I am. That's what I'm going to bring to this team. I'm going to continue to bring it. The high energy fuels these guys. And when I first got here, the energy wasn't there. And I felt that. And I knew, I needed to kind of build my way in. I dealt with a couple injuries when I first got here. And, I knew I needed to build my way in and continue to get these guys' trust and respect. And once that kind of took off and I earned these guys' trust and respect, I started being really myself. And these guys really started to buy in and, give me energy back and show that, they want to work hard to win football games.
That's tricky, right? When you're a rookie, right? And these are grown men who've been here. I mean, you can't just walk in and start yelling at everybody. They're going to look like, who the hell is this guy? But as you and Jaxson are able to put it on tape, as they say in this league, how do you feel the buy-in? Because I felt like we could see it tonight, man. Your defense is on the bench going nuts, waving towels. How much do you feel it growing in these weeks that you've been out there?
I mean, it's been nothing but growth. You could feel these guys buying in. Coach Dayball's bringing that energy and that fire, and everyone's really buying into each other, no matter what. Trying to keep all the outside stuff away and focus on, the 53 men that are in the building every single day that are fighting the battlefield every single day. So, continuing to, fight and battle has been awesome with these guys, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Well, the future's got a couple of tough road games at Denver and at Philadelphia, but that's for down the road. I must admit that as I looked at him being your quarterback, I look at you and I think a couple of young guys that got the city. They got the city in the palm of their hand and got a long weekend ahead of them. I mean, you got to make sure. That's a tough city. There's a lot of distractions out there. How do you manage, Cam, to keep the main thing and not let all of the outside noise and temptations of what the city could offer? I see you shaking your head. That holds no intrigue, huh?
I'll be playing video games, taking care of my body. There's not a thing that can get me out of the zone of football right now. Just continuing to work and make sure that, these guys are staying focused and, like I said, bringing the energy to make sure that these guys know I'm locked in and we're all locked in together.
Hell yeah, that makes a ton of sense. You do whatever you want, but mostly take care of that body, rest and recover, and enjoy the ride, man. It was a lot of fun watching you and your teammates play tonight. You were fantastic. I appreciate you taking a little bit of time, Cam.
Absolutely, thank you.
Jaxson Dart won his first start against the Chargers. Then they lost on the road to a winless New Orleans team, now hosting the reigning champions from Philadelphia. That was a pretty good quarterback at Ole Miss that was pretty good for the Giants too, right? Eli Manning in the building, and Darius Slayton out. Lil Jordan Humphrey is up, and he leaps up for a good catch of 34 yards. And here on 3rd and 8, the money down in the league. They're 11 of 16 on 3rd down. This is a first down and a touchdown. What's up? Jaxson Dart, 7-3. Next Giants drive. Dart can't find anything. And again, the very best are off schedule and off platform and can still make throws. That's not just a first down. Again, it's a touchdown. This one to Wan'Dale Robinson. Giants' first time in the last 45 years. They scored a touchdown on each of the first 2 possessions in consecutive games. Jordan Davis showing Dart some love. Now it's the Cam Skattebo show. 3 touchdowns. They initially ruled this one was short, but you see Dart giving a high five because he knew his guy was in. Dart's the youngest quarterback to defeat a Super Bowl champion, or defending Super Bowl champion, I should say. 22 years, 149 days old. Here's what he had to say.
What you guys are trying to build going up against a Philly just won the Super Bowl last year, to have this performance today, what type of message do you guys think you sent?
Well, first of all, we can't be naive to, everything. So we hear what people say, and it definitely lights a fire in us. And me and Scott talked about, last week we felt like it was kind of just on us, losing that game, and we felt like we moved the ball just fine. So, our big emphasis was just to, make sure that we take care of the ball, and we felt like, if we do that, then we're going to move the ball up the field. So just really proud of how the guys played, and I think that we're just trying to set a standard of intensity here each and every day.
What do you mean by what people say? You said what people say. What specifically stood out that irked you guys? Well,
I just think that there's at times there's some negativity that's surrounding here, and for us, some of the new guys that are coming here, we just got here, so, we don't feel like we were involved in the past. And we got a lot of winners on this team, and guys who come out every single day and work their ass off to put on a good showing on Sundays. And I feel like we're just connected, and we just have games that, at times in those moments where it just hasn't gone our way. And we just feel like we do feel like we're a really good team. We have really good players. So, we're just trying to win games. We're just trying to stay, internal and stay connected each and every day.
Positivity in New York, but Jaxson Dart will learn that they'll turn on you quick if you don't win in that city, man. They're all about winning, and they did. They did to start Week 6. Damien Woody is back with an eye on a couple of games this week. I want to start with the glamour game on paper. It's Detroit at Kansas City. Since Week 1, when the Lions weren't very good, they've been awesome. Kansas City, meanwhile, if they were to drop this one at home, would be 2-4. That's a team I just can't mentally quit on. But if they're 2-4, if they lose this game, where would you be regarding Kansas City?
Yeah, Scotty, I'm not ready to jump ship yet on the Kansas City Chiefs, even if they lose this one. Primarily because no one's running away in the division. Obviously, the Denver Broncos, they're 3-2. They got a game against the Jets. They should win that game. But Kansas City, in my opinion, is still squarely in this thing. They're going to get Rashee Rice back pretty soon. So, listen, we still got a long ways to go. I'm not ready to jump ship on the Kansas City Chiefs just yet.
I thought the most surprising thing Monday night was just the turnovers. Actually, the pick was an amazing play from Lloyd, but they had 13 penalties. You just don't see Reed's teams do that often. You imagine they'd clean that up. Now, the team they lost to in Jacksonville, we were there for Monday Night Football. Short week, but they welcomed Seattle off of probably a pretty tough loss and a really entertaining game out in Seattle. It's the dreaded 1 o'clock window game for a West Coast team. So you got some short week and travel circumstances. Does any of what happened last week bleed into this game, or are professionals able to kind of flush that and move into the here and now?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think from the Jacksonville Jaguars, it came off an emotional game, emotional win against the Kansas City Chiefs, one of the dominant teams in the AFC over the past decade. And so how do you react off of that? You're still in the early stages of a program that's learning how to win and handle success. How do you deal with that? And, this next challenge is a very good Seattle Seahawks team that lost a heartbreaker at the end of the game to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So this will be a great challenge for Jacksonville. And also, Sam Darnold is playing extremely well. So it's going to be interesting to see how this whole game plays out between those two ball clubs.
The Jacksonville team's got 14 takeaways after they only had 9 for a whole season. They're telling me we got to wrap. I'm asking you a sentence question. Do you believe the Jacksonville Jaguars' 4-1 record reflects what they are as a team? You think that's who they are?
Like the great Bill Parcells said, you are what your record says you are. They're a good football team. They play good defense, and they do it on the offensive side as well.
Right on. That was a huge win for them. I'm with you. I'm really interested to see if there's any hangover after that win against the measuring stick in Kansas City. Damien, appreciate you. Be well.